Hey guys, I have another battle here, with, ExtremeCardz. This guy found my first battle on YouTube and decided to private message me, and, we had our own battle. Um, so it starts off with me setting up my Sandstorm. He gets off a Dragon Dance while I set up my rocks. Sandstorm takes a small bit of his HP, and he uses a Dragon Danced Earthquake, which, I thought would kill me, but I got lucky and survived. I used Stone Edge. I thought it would do more damage, so maybe I accidentally made my Tyranitar bulky or something. I'll have to check the salve. Anyway, it kills my Tyranitar, and I send out my Doryuzu, and it Earthquakes that new Dragon-type Pokemon that's supposed to be ridiculous in attack, and gets that out of the way, so that's pretty nice. He sends out his water starter, and I don't know why I switch out, because I know I probably could have taken at least a good chunk out of his HP. And, not that the switch was bad, though. I switch into my Notori on his Earthquake, and he tries to surf while I set up my first layer of spikes. He, switches out into his Boom, or Fire Ape, and it needs a Firestone to evolve. I remember finding that out the hard way. I use Leech Seed, predicting his water starter's switch, and I switch out into my Apagura, Epic Turtle, on his Flame Wheel. So that literally does no damage, and I get a burn. So it's like, really? Really? I got a burn? And, leftovers and Leech Seed are keeping me at full health, but now he switches out, so I'm not going to be at full health. And this, I think it's Uteri, something like that. It's a normal type, but its Dream World ability is Sand Throw, or maybe it's not even Dream World. It's Sand Throw, which doubles its speed in the sand, and I didn't know that. So we'll see how that plays out without me knowing that. So it tries to use Thunderbolt on me, and fails kind of terribly, because even though I'm not specially defensive, Sandstorm's up, and that gives me special defense. After seeing that I'm cursing freely, and his Thunderbolt won't do anything, and I'm not worried about the burn, he sets out his Stealth Rock, which means he's planning to do something, and then he Swords Dances, which gets me worried, like maybe he doesn't have Return as an attack. Maybe it's something worse. I guess we'll see. More of this happens after using his Swords Dance. He uses Thunderbolt, which strikes me as weird, but whatever. So I use Rest and get rid of the burn. That's why I wasn't very worried about the burn. And now I'm asleep for 2 turns, and he gets off 2 Swords Dances. I hope you guys like the quality this time. I made it a lot better. Boy, it really took a long time to record, though. I wish GS Mew were a little bit faster on my computer. Anyway, I finally wake up after his +6 attack, and get an Aqua Jet off. And what I should have done here is another Aqua Jet, but instead I went for the Stone Edge on his second Earthquake. And had I gone for 2 Aqua Jets, I could have killed it. And I was hoping to kill it on the first Stone Edge. But the Stone Edge missed, so that failed terribly. And now he has a +6 Uteri that's faster than all of my Pokemon, because of Sand Throw, or Sand Charge. I think Pokesap calls it Sand Charge. So I sent out my Doryuzu, thinking that it would be faster, but it's not, because I didn't know it had Sand Throw, and at that time I looked it up, and it did have Sand Throw. So it just killed it with an Earthquake. And then I sent out my Notori, thinking that it would have enough defense to maybe survive 1 attack and then get a Power Whip off or something. And that doesn't work. So I sent out my Starmie with nothing left to do, and he uses Thunderbolt. I'm like, yes, you didn't go for the +6 Earthquake. Instead, you went for the super effective Thunderbolt. So he uses Thunderbolt on me, I use Thunderbolt on it, and he sends out a Boom, but this Boom doesn't have any damage. So I think, oh, Zoroark. This is my first encounter with a Zoroark, and Hydro Pump just barely doesn't kill it. So I'm going to have to work on that. but then Sandstorm does, but only after it kills me. So now I'm down to my last Pokemon, Shandera, and he sends out his Lucario. I'm like, oh boy, what does this Lucario know? Because some Lucarios know Dark Pulses. He goes for a Mach Punch or something, I didn't catch it. Some fighting move. While I go for a Nitro Charge, which rises my speed. Because if he can't attack me, I was like, oh, so let's raise my speed. I go for another Nitro Charge, so now my speed's over 400, and I like having my speed over 400, because most Pokemon don't have their speed over 400. Then he uses Bullet Punch, and I was like, oh, why didn't you do that the first time? But it still does, like, laughable damage. And now I'm getting some Calm Minds off. Preparing to sweep his team. So I've gotten 2 speed boosts, and at this point I've gotten 2 Calm Minds. And he's just bullet punching me, not doing anything. Sandstorm hurts me, I heal everything back with the leftovers. Sandstorm isn't hurting him because he's a Steel type. I get a 3rd Calm Mind off, and then I decide to call it quits. He goes for a Swords Dance, and I guess he went for another Swords Dance instead of a Bullet Punch, because when I use Flamethrower, it goes first. So that kills him, and he sends out his Water Starter again. And at this point I'm like, oh crap, because I had the Water Starter when I was playing the original story mode, and it had Aqua Jet, and of course he uses Aqua Jet. And I lose. Good game. We both made a couple mistakes, but overall, I liked it.